What's up, my crazy yahoos? How's everybody doing today? I have hopefully gotten my audio straightened out and can start doing lives. I'm not going to guarantee how well this is going to go, but stick with me and we'll see how this goes. I want to welcome everybody to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. My name is Amy, and I just let me just start out first by to where the name of my podcast comes from, because people see me in their chats and they kind of look and they're like, the Ruby Pearl Glamper, what? And they say something, well, God, that's a long name. Well, the Ruby Pearl Glamper, that is the name of my RV. I am a full-time RVer. I sold my house in 2017 when my youngest daughter went off to college and then got married and moved to Virginia Beach. And I have been living full-time in an RV around the lakes of Arkansas. I'm originally from Arkansas. I've lived here my whole life, and I didn't get to grow up camping. So it was my dream to buy a vintage camper and fix it up, and that's what I did. I bought a 1979 Dodge Eldorado Class C RV, and I redid it and glammed it up. That's why it's called a glamper instead of a camper. And I call it my big girl rolling dollhouse. It is pretty much a representation of myself in 1979. Hello, in the chat. Please let me know if you can hear me. I got my comments on. I apologize. This is my first time. Oh, no, they didn't stick around. Oh, well. Hello. Can you hear me? I see somebody watching. But anyway, it's a 1979 Dodge Eldorado Class C RV, and it's pretty much a representation of me when I was 9 years old. I've got a Holly Hobby bedroom, and my bathroom is all Marilyn Monroe. I have the front part of it is pink shabby chic, which I inherited a love from my grandmother, whose name is Ruby. Pearl comes from my mom. My dad always had a nickname for everybody, so that's why where the name Pearl comes from. Her real name is Frankie, but everyone called her Pearl, and of course I got called Amy Pearl. So that's where Ruby Pearl comes from. I want to talk about the cats in Cal City. The two boys, Orrin and Orison West, who their parents have now been, their adoptive parents have now been indicted on second-degree murder charges, along with some other charges, felony child abuse and whatnot. And I got to tell you, this case really threw me for a loop. I mean, am I surprised that kids aren't really missing, that they had died, and that their parents are being charged with it? No. What I'm shocked about is that they've actually been gone for 3 months prior to them being missing or reported missing, and how these parents spent 3 months concocting this story and concocting this elaborate missing kids report, and how they were out and detailed. Back in, I left the gate open. They were just gone. I ran up and down the road looking for them, blah, 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 blah. Just totally elaborate plot. And then to find out that these kids never even made it to Cal City. These kids were gone long before they even moved to Cal City. And I am just shocked, because I mean it's just speechless. But what's even more disheartening is that this was not an accident, that a couple of parents freaked and panicked, and an accident happened and they buried their kids or whatever. This was deliberate, cold-blooded murder. And the DA was able to prove it, along with 50 other witnesses, to a grand jury without the children's bodies. Without the children's bodies. They were able to prove this to a grand jury and get 5 indictments. I'm a little surprised by the second-degree murder charge, though, because that doesn't come with as stiff of a penalty as first-degree murder. I don't know if maybe once they are able to find the children's bodies, if they can upgrade them to murder. I kind of hope so. I mean, personally, I think these people deserve the death penalty, but that's another issue. But they hopefully. But man, I just didn't. This really threw me for a loop. I watched the press conference with the DA over on Sleuth Mom's channel. And shout out to Sleuth Mom. She really stays on top of these missing cases and does just a wonderful job. She really does. But I watched the press conference over on her channel, and I mean, I was just so shocked to find out that these children had never even made it to Cal City, that they were gone 3 months before they were reported. And someone on another channel that was discussing Trezell and the interview that the parents did, was talking about him standing there, his arm with his hands up underneath his armpits. And in the world of body language, crossing your arms in front of you, that is a sign of you're protecting yourself from the person that you're speaking to. And he wasn't just protecting himself. He didn't just have his arms crossed in front of him, honey. He had them all the way up underneath his arms. That's overprotection. But it was hard to get read or anything on them, when they were doing that interview, because they had those masks and stuff on. And, you just can't get a good view of their faces and their expressions and stuff with those masks on. But, I just, man, they're being arraigned this morning, or they were arraigned this morning. I haven't seen a report yet on whether or not they set a bond or anything like that. This is just plea and arraignment, where they did the charges and then if they need a lawyer or whatever, they appoint them a public defender or give them the opportunity to hire their own attorney if they have the money or whatever. But I seriously doubt that this judge will even give them a bond with 5 charges like that, and 3, one murder and 2 child abuse felony charges. I mean, that's no. Surely to God they won't give them a bond. But anyway, so let's talk about Summer Wells. What's happening in the holla? Does Candace and Don have a lawyer or what? That is the big question on everybody's mind. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson of Hawkins County gave a press conference and said that they were doing a planned search again for Summer Wells at the beginning of the week, and I don't know if they're back out there today searching or not. Hopefully they are. But anyway, he said that that the parents are no longer cooperating, and that they have lawyers. Now, well, as we all know, Don is in jail, and he had a public defender, to my knowledge. He had a public defender, and when he pled guilty to probation violation and DWI and all that. But then that was the lawyer, his public defender, for that case and that case only. Then with Candace, she has said on some different people's channels that she does have a lawyer, but now she's come out and said she don't have a lawyer. And who's lying? Is Sheriff Ronnie Lawson lying, or is Candace lying? Because I don't believe a word that comes out of either one's mouth. But I would assume with the CPS case that Candace has an attorney, was appointed an attorney for the CPS case with the boys. And she's made the statement on a channel, one of her supporter channels, that there's a gag order on all her kids. So I don't know if that includes, she said all her kids, so I don't know if she means just the boys, or the boys and Summer, or what the girl means. She stays drunk half the damn time, and who knows? But then there's the case of Summer being missing, which is a totally separate ordeal from the CPS case with the boys and the charges of that Don had for DWI probation. Um, that this is totally separate. And considering that Candace, Dawn, Mandis, or anyone for that matter, has been charged with thing regarding Summer's disappearance, they would not have an attorney unless they've gone out and hired an attorney. And I just don't see Candace doing that. I really don't. But we have seen it before in the past, just like Benet Ramsey. The parents hired attorneys, and and a lot of people think, well, oh, you go and hire an attorney, that means you're guilty. Not necessarily. When you're being accused of something that you're not guilty of, or you're being accused of anything, hiring an attorney is just to protect your rights and whatnot. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're guilty. But I just do not see Candace going out and hiring an attorney to represent her as far as Summer's disappearance goes. And then you have Grandis, who went on the news for the first time since Summer went missing, to address Sheriff Ronnie Lawson's comments and say, hey, wait a minute. Don't none of us have an attorney. Why are you saying that? And why are you saying cooperating? You have my phone number. You can call me. Well, the phone rings both ways. Candace, Dawn, whoever. And if my child were missing, honey, I would be camped out on the doorstep of or Ronnie Lawson's house or the sheriff's department. I mean, I would be camped out on a cot begging for information. Do you know anything? Has anyone called any tips? I wouldn't be sitting at home drunk and on YouTube talking to people, and making my own YouTube channel because my husband's in jail now and he's not hogging all the anymore, and now I can get me some attention. I mean, it's just, I just do not understand these people. But one thing I do want to say, and I do want to clarify, is that I do not trust Ronnie Lawson of Hawkins County, Tennessee, no farther than I can throw his bald-headed ass. And I'm going to tell you why. I grew up in Central Arkansas in a town where we had dirty, backroom dealing police officers, sheriff's department, sheriffs, judges, lawyers, prosecutors, good old boy system. I don't even just the good old boy system. And when I was a teenager in the 80s, my friends and I, we dealt with a lot of police brutality. And like I said, cops and everything, our whole system was dirty, backroom dealing goodies. and I've done so many of them over half my life that I can spot one like a big yellow school bus coming. And the first ever laid out Sheriff Ronnie Lawson on the first press conference regarding the disappearance of Summer, I got that gut instinct, that gut feeling that I always get, and I don't get it very often, but I got that gut feeling in the pit of my stomach, and I saw straight through them. I've been having flashbacks to the 80s of my own sheriffs and stuff that I've dealt with, and I don't believe a word that comes out of that man's mouth. Trust him. He's a dirty good old boy. Now you can have your own opinions about Ronnie Lawson. That's your business, but that is just how I feel. And if you understood where I was coming from and what I had to deal with and what I saw growing up for more than half my life, you would understand why I feel the way I feel. But yeah, I just don't trust a word that comes out of that man's mouth. And he has every time he does a press conference, he has something nasty to say about social media. And here's the deal with social media, okay? I live in Arkansas. I don't live in Hawkins County, Tennessee. I don't know what they are and aren't doing. All I know is what I see and what I hear from the press, YouTube, from people that live there, such as Alley from cracking cases, Scott H. You know those people that actually live up there and know or that are more closer to the investigation than I am or anyone in the UK or wherever is. That's all we have to go on. But he's always got some nasty remark to make about YouTubers and media and how we're hindering their investigation and we're doing this and we're doing that, and that they just got to where they don't pay attention to it anymore. Well, I mean, why would you pay attention to any of us in the first place? The only person you really need to be paying attention to is Don and Candace, who are on YouTube. The only people you really need to be paying attention to is them and the panels that they go on and what they say. It has been 8 months and they have gone on 500,000 YouTube channels and they're down every time, even changing their story in the same conversation on the same panel in a matter of 10 minutes. They changed their narrative. Why have you not arrested them yet? Why have you not taken them in and interrogated them and said, look, your story don't jive. It's time to start telling the truth. Because I don't believe a word that's coming out of your mouth. Everybody else has. You know, they interrogated Megan Boswell. They've interrogated a lot of parents, a lot of people. From day one, one story has matched. Not Don's, not Candace's, not Grandis's, not Hunter. No one. No one stories have matched. And they've changed and changed and changed and changed. over the course of 8 months. So why have you not people in the back room like the good old boy you are, Ronnie Lawson, and done something? Hammered the hammer down and told these people, look, story ain't having. See that. Now, as far as Grandis going on the news or whatever, and finally talking and addressing the Ronnie Lawson's comments, I don't blame her. I mean, if someone were telling lies about me, I'd want to go on TV and defend myself too. But, then again, you should be keeping more in contact with the sheriff's department and TBI than what you all have been. That's what, makes sense to anybody. So, you got Don locked up in your jail, but have you gone back to him? Or what? Like I said, I don't, that man is shady as hell. I don't trust a word coming out of his mouth. And, I'm not one, I can't say not accurately for a fact that this search was planned or not. It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. But I do think that the sheriff is fed up with all this bullshit and tired of getting phone calls from YouTubers and psychics and whoever getting phone calls from, because, it's leading nowhere. So, but it's in my opinion, it's time to go back to the drawing board. It's time to go back to the last place she was seen and the last people that seen her and say, okay, look. Because human behavior panel on Dr. Phil even said that Candace was hiding something, that she was not telling the truth about something. I hope everybody can hear me. Can you let me know? Say hello, give me a thumbs up or something. Let me know that you are able to hear me. Whoops. Crash, boom, bang. There went everything. Anyway, I just don't know what to think about all this. I don't. But hopefully something is fixing to happen soon, because before we know it, it's going to be June 15th again, and it's going to be a year. The summer's been gone, and not a trace hiding her hair of her. And it seems to me that they're still possibly going on the theory that she wandered off from the house. And where they're looking is allegedly around 2.5 miles from the house. And, stranger things have happened, but I would be surprised that she would wander off from home unless she was the boys. I just don't know. This whole thing is so baffling. But I definitely, feel that 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 they're holding there is a big part of this story that they are not telling. Because I don't believe for a hot minute that anyone walked up in that basement and took that little girl. So, and Grandis has said that latest interview that once she went to the house to play with the boys, that was the last time she saw Summer. So, how much time really lapsed before they realized Summer was gone? Allegedly gone. Got gone. However you want to put it. How much time lapsed? I'm glad she did finally come out to clarify that she took a nap when they got home, because that's been swirling around for a while, and I I I personally figured that was probably true, because I have health problems. I have fibromyalgia, and I have chronic back pain from a fractured vertebrae and everything. So I know that she went to the hospital that morning with her knee hurting and everything, and got pain pills and all that and whatnot. After doing all that running around, I would have home and lay down nap too. I mean, that's just what you do when you're and you've been out running errands all day. So I've always figured that was probably true. But how long did she take a nap for? You know, I just don't know about these people, you know. I wish somebody start talking truth. Well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and end this live because no one has entered the chat room, and I really don't have anybody to conversate with, but I just kind of wanted to come in and try this live out again, because my first one didn't work. I had an audio issue, and hopefully it's supposed to be fixed now. So hopefully I haven't been rambling this whole time, and no one can hear me. But I hope that you will hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment and whatnot. Also do a podcast on Spotify called the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast, and I cover a lot of the trials and stuff that are going on right now. I've taken a break from that though, because I went through the state's case against the McMichaels and Brian in the Ahmaud Arbery trial, and then civil rights case against them for federal hate crime. And I gotta tell you, that took a lot out of me, because that never have I seen such horrific, blatant racism in all my life. And Wanda Cooper Jones, man, she is a spitfire. She had never wavered. She never gave justice for her son. And now she's filed a wrongful death suit against the families, or I guess. So she's taking these people for everything. I mean, everything they did, she's destroying these people, and I don't blame her. But go over and listen to my podcast over on Spotify and Anchor. Some really good coverage of several cases. Travis Ryan King, Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm covering the Ethan Crumley case and his parents, James Crumley, Ethan Oxford High School shooter, and I'm covering that. They have been they had a preliminary hearing and everything, and the parents will stand trial for 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. And so, it's time for parents to start taking responsibility for their kids. They gave him that gun. They bought that gun for him. There's on it. And God bless those people at another school that have kids that's gonna suffer from PTSD the rest of their lives. They're never gonna forget that. It's just so sad. I covered the Waffle House trial too, the one against Travis Ryan King, and I did a different take on that though. I compare their cases, people that had killed someone else and had paranoid schizophrenia. I did 2 parts to it. I also compared, what was going on in society at that time that influenced Travis and his way of thinking. And, it was pretty compelling what I came up with. So, but I sure hope that we are somehow coming to a close in the search for Summer Wells. Whether they find her alive, whether they find her gone, whether they charge the parents or whatever, it is time for something to happen because, like I said, I'm from Arkansas, and I have never forgotten about or given up on finding little Morgan Nick, who was kidnapped from an Alma ball field back in 1995. And we have never, ever, ever found that child. But for those of you that hear this, that live in Tennessee, there has become a interest in the kidnapping of Morgan Nick. And the man died in prison. He died in an Arkansas prison in 2000 after being found guilty of trying to kidnap an 11-year-old little girl about a month and a half after Morgan was kidnapped. And so if you would, please watch my video, The Kidnapping of Morgan Nick, and just get Billy's name out there and ask around your neighbors, your aunts, your uncles, your parents, your grandparents, and see if they ever knew this man. Because the FBI here in Arkansas believe that he had connections in Tennessee. And with him being dead now, they want to try and find people who may have previously known him. So if you would please watch my video on the kidnapping of Morgan Nick. I want to thank everybody for listening. Those of you that have listened, I wish I could have talked with you in the chat. And as I said, hopefully this is being broadcast and being heard. So let me know either way whether it's being heard or not. But anyway, you all take care, and I will try and let people know ahead when I'm going to go live again. I didn't even announce this or anything. I don't have a community page yet because you have to have so many subscribers, and I don't have subscribers. You have to have a community page. Again, please give my channel a chance and help me grow, and hit that subscribe button. You all have a wonderful day, and everyone, please remember to be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Have a great day, everyone. Peace out.